Hello, everybody. It's just me and Jenny here. Just a quick ab routine, 10 minutes, maybe a couple minutes more. Just if you're short on time or if you want to do a workout and sometimes you have trouble getting started or warmed up, you can do 10 minutes of abs and then it usually kind of gets you going. And then you can maybe go for a walk or do another kind of strength workout or just do this as a standalone. So these are some of my favorite exercises, no equipment, and we're going to just go through everything. 45 seconds each, no repeat unless I do something right and left, and I think there's only one of those moves. And I will be talking you through so you can like make these a little bit harder if you want, but they're really foundational exercises and they work the entire core region front to back. So let's get started. The first one is a very staple in any core regimen is a plank. I'm going to show it on my elbows. You can also do this on your hands. If you have wrist problems, you can put your hands elevated on dumbbells. But let's just start in an elbow plank. So you're going to have your elbows down. I like to start with my knees down and my toes are curled under. And this is a great place to start. We're going to hold this for 45 seconds. But if you're looking to ramp it up, come to your toes. Excuse me. We're going to hold it right here. And this is a great progression. So you're reaching through the crown of the head. You're kind of into the front of your foot. You don't want to be too far back because you don't want those hips to come up. Tuck the pelvis under. Again, right here is fine. You're in it. I'm just showing modifications, so I have my eye on the clock. Draw your shoulders back and down. Arms are parallel. You can make fists here, whatever you want with your hands, but reach to the crown of the head. You can also just hover between. You can do a little bit on your knees and then push through. So keep breathing. You're feeling those shoulders too. 4, 3, 2, stay with me, and 1. Good. All right, next one is going to be one of my favorites, leg lowers. We're going to be on our back. I'm going to show you one leg at a time. So you're going to come onto your back. You can have your head up or down. I tend to like my head up for these. My hips are down, and my head, neck, and shoulders are up. Again, you can have your head down. We're going to lower right and up and left. And keep going with this, 45 seconds. I'll talk you through to make it harder. So if you want to make it easier, you're going to just have your hands down. You can bend your knees and shorten the lever. But I love single leg lowers because you want to make sure when you lower that leg, your spine is imprinted and you don't want to arch through the pelvis here. So if you want to make it harder, you can drop both. I'm going to take my head, neck, and shoulders up. So you can kind of flex down and maybe point up. But the point is not to lift the hips. Now, lifting the head, neck, and shoulders is just a bonus. You can have your head down. We only have about 10 seconds left. So again, this is a great one that you can do maybe singles first. And then say, you know what, I want to do one double. So then just do one double. And you can go right there. And hug your knees in. Great. All right, side V-ups. This is like one of my real favorites. You're going to be on your elbow, ear off your shoulder, and you're going to sit back on your right glute. Okay, you're not really on your side here. So you can be here with one leg, okay, or here, or here. Lots of options. So go 45 seconds. So lifting both legs is going to be your most challenging one, but you can progress it. You can maybe do both knees bent. Again, if you're just starting out, how about this? Okay, this is fine. You're still working that core, but you're not pulling on your head. I have my eye on the clock, I promise. I do like this variation where you kind of reach towards your toes. You can also reach overhead. Really anything goes here. But the point is you are on your glute, like your back pocket in your jeans, okay? Again, right here is great. 4, 3, 2, 1. We have to do that on the other side. So this is the only repeat one. All right, we're going to go. Just take a breather, maybe a little shoulder roll, and then we're going to do the same thing. Now, this is my more challenging side. So I'm going to start conservative. Okay, I'm going to go one leg. Here we go, 45 seconds. So I'm going to go right here just to kind of get into it. Okay, my ear is off my shoulder, and I'm not pulling my head to my knee. I'm crunching right here. So now I'm going to say, let me try this. Again, this is my less stable side. I like to straighten and bend, but I'm finding it definitely, I could do it till the cows come home on the other side. This is my more challenging side. So we have about 15 seconds left. So I'm gonna go to this one. I might be going slower, but you wanna work smart. So just know, you don't have to go to the hardest version right away. Know your body. I know on this side, I usually start out with single and then I go to double. So my lower abs are super tight here to protect that lower back, and time up already. All right, so I'm gonna go to my third, I guess, favorite. Bicycles are fourth. All right, so bicycles, this is a great exercise. It's really a foundational, this is like a foundational exercise in Pilates. So this is single leg stretch. And you want to mimic this, but you're going shoulder to knee. And you want to make sure that you keep your back flat. So keep going with this one. I'm going to talk a little bit about bicycles. So what I see a lot is this up down. You're really lifting from a lifted position. So if you're just having trouble with this one, you can be here and just lift one leg or reach to the outside with or without the leg down. That's going to set you up in a perfect foundation for the bicycle. So if you say, oh, I can't do bicycles right now, just take it in stages. Use the building blocks. And you want to imagine that you're on a balance beam or a step so you don't rock side to side. Shoulder to knee. The elbow may come across, but it's really shoulder to knee. Again, this is great too. Maybe with your head down in between, and rest. Awesome job. All right, next one is going to be a hip lift. Love this one. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick to get your hips up, because I see this one all the time, like with an abrupt kind of hip lift, and it's really about lengthening the movement and finding that time under tension. So I forget where I picked this one up, but start with your legs in tabletop. Let's just start on the ground. So bring your right leg up, shoulders down, lift and lower the hips. You can even use your hands for a little bit of help in the beginning. And then that one leg up kind of gives you a little bit of assistance to get the hips up, okay? If you're like, oh, I'm good to go on this one, you can have both legs up. Now, I don't like to bend and straighten the knee when you're in the full version of this. Either pick straight legs, okay, or stay bent. You can also do this. Some people like to have their ankles crossed, and you can add a little crunch. So it's a hip lift, any variation. I like the straight leg. You want to imagine pointing or flexing the feet up, but you want to avoid doing this, okay? And rest. That's what you want to avoid doing. When your lower abs aren't built up to that point, or you're new to the exercise, it just becomes a lot of momentum, and it really doesn't do a heck of a lot for your abs. So try that single variation. That is the only time I would actively bend and straighten the knees, in that one. All right, the next one is going to be a high-low boat, and I'll show you the option if you're just starting out. So high-low boat, you're going to stay here, and you're going to go down and up. Let's take our arms here. Perfect. This is exactly what we're doing. You keep going. I'm going to show you the progression. I'm going to keep my chest open and just take my hands behind. And then I'm going to bring one knee in, put it out. So this is a building block. Love the building block. You don't always have to go to the full version, even if you are experienced. It's really nice to come back to basics. Now you can go here, okay, and here. We're getting there, okay? So I'm not pushing into my hands, and I'm actively pulling the knees in and then lengthening. So my legs can be a little higher. Now if you want, you can go low, high. So that's a little bit harder. You can also do it here. Low, high, put your feet down, okay? So this makes it a little bit harder, but still working those lower abs. 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome job. All right, next one. We're gonna go into one of my really favorites, is a superhero. Now superheroes, you cannot do any really good comprehensive ab core workout without working the lower back. So we're going to be on our stomachs, and I'll show you some variations. My favorite is swimming, but I'll show you some variations for this. So you're going to be right here. And before we bring the arms out, let's just keep the arms right here. Keep your face parallel, but the chest is lifted. and you're going to lift the right leg and the left leg. Now my hip bones are pressing into the mat, so are my ribs, okay? I'm not here. Okay, I'm reaching through the crown of the head, and my hands are right here. My shoulders are pulled back. Now I'm going to keep this going, and when I lift my left leg, I'm going to bring the right arm up and alternate. And see how I'm tapping down in between? All right, now I'm going to try to float everything up to make it harder. Really pull those lower abs in because this is a hard one. So float everything up, 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 up. If I want to make it harder, I'm going to be right here. Okay, so reaching through the crown of the head, you can also be here. This is a really great variation. You're working on all those postural muscles, but I'm lifting from the back of the leg, getting a little glute here too. So there's lots of variations. So another one you can do is this, and then just do one at a time, tap down in between, and then maybe don't tap down in between, and then go for the swim. 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit back into child's pose. I like to sit back and just stretch out that back. If that's too much, keep your forearms down and your hips high. Awesome. All right. So I know I'm probably going to go longer than 10 minutes, but these variations that I'm giving you and the coaching is helpful, I think. All right. I'm looking at my list, my little cheat sheet. Glute bridge and a crunch. I love this one because it gets the glutes, gets the hamstrings, feels good on the body, feet down. So you're going to have your head down and you're going to do a glute bridge. So you're going to have your feet down on the floor, legs parallel, and you're going to do a glute bridge and a crunch. And a glute bridge and a crunch. Okay, so this looks easy, maybe, but it's a great way to get into a crunch and have a break for your head. Okay, so whenever you do the glute bridge, I really want your head down on that, and then you're adding the crunch. Now, if you want to make the crunch fancy, go ahead. And then this is a good segue just into regular crunches. You can do a little penguin crunch there. So then bring your head up, penguin, penguin, bring it down. So lots you can do there. If you just like the crunch, do the crunch. I like the penguin, reaching, head down. So again, that just gets that oblique a little bit more. And then, you can spend some time just with some crunches here, and you can reach, okay? And then you can bring those legs up. You can do this with your hands behind your head. So it kind of segues into the crunches. So really there's a gazillion different options for crunches, okay? You can do some with one leg down, lots of options on that. But I just want to give you my favorites, and you can pick your favorite variation. All right, my next favorite one is going to be, X-abs. I love these. So your feet are out. I'll show you 2 variations. We're almost there. And we're going to be right here, head down, legs out, toes up. You're going to crunch up. So again, that bridge is a good one to start your crunch. A lot of people say they can't do crunches. I think maybe you can, but maybe you're doing them wrong and you hurt your neck. So we're going to bring the left leg up and crunch. And right, now I can rest my head in between, okay? But when you come up, I want you to think about Pilates, curling, and I have some videos about the Pilates roll up. So curl and then lift your head. So I'm not pulling, I'm not like doing this, okay? I'm curling and reaching over. Now this is a very effective exercise. I like this one, and then if you want to go further, you can come all the way up and reach. It's almost like a single boat, like we did before. Now, you don't have to have your hand behind your head. You can have them right here. You can even do this with the weight in your hand, and you can rest the head in between. I, however, just don't like to, but it definitely, if you can keep going with that for another few seconds. If you are working on strengthening the muscles in your neck to help you do crunches for longer, it will come. So in a way, you can just kind of rest it in between and then spend longer and longer with your head, neck, and shoulders up. Again, right here is fine. I am really feeling those obliques, and you can even do it with a bent knee, okay? But I love this one. You can really progress it. I'm reaching to the outside, and I'm using my core to roll myself up. You can even do it with a bent knee. Touch the instep. Good. This is more of like an instructional video too. All right. And then I'm just throwing in one for fun. My all-time favorite, clock circles. Now this one you have to really watch and experiment with, because the first time I did it, I didn't know what I was doing. So when I teach it, I say just play with it a little bit. So what you're doing is a combination hip lift and a crunch, and you're moving the hips in one direction of a clock, and then the other. So you hit your obliques on the right, then on the left. But all those exercises I just showed you is a building block for this. Now, you're not gonna have your hands behind your head, you're gonna have them right here. My heels are down. I'm gonna lift my hips, move in one direction. Now I'm not looking up at the ceiling, I'm looking at my knees to keep my chin tucked, and then I go the other way. So I'm keeping my heels down, okay, when I do this. Couple things that you could do wrong with this one is if you are doing this, you're going to stay in one place. You have to relocate your hips. And I want you to do that with a hip lift with your lower abdominals, with your heels down. That's why doing those hip lifts with that building block that I showed you before is so important. So heels down, hands here. You don't want your hands behind your head. I know you're going to want to put them there. I'd rather have you stop, rest, and continue. Okay, you want to build up to about 45 seconds to a minute here. So I'm going to show you again. Hands here. I like my hands together. I like my heels down. Now you can really move on this one. Make sure you're not putting your elbows down. So it looks a little funny, but it's great. It's awesome. It's one of my favorites. I picked it up in Florida when I was at a fitness convention about probably 18 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And we're just going to keep going. There we go. And just be even. You know, maybe you start out with one on the right and one on the left and be done. And then you work up to 2 and then 3. But alternate it. It's a load of fun. So I hope you enjoyed that. Those are some of my favorite core exercises. Let's just stretch out a little bit. So ear to shoulder and take that arm over. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can message me. And what else is better to do on a rainy day than some 10-minute abs with a little bit of instruction? So I see a lot of videos out there, open up the chest, where there's not much instruction going on. And sometimes when you see something, you're like, oh, that's the way I should be doing it. But you need to know the why are you doing it, what's the purpose, and how do I do that? And how do I progress to that? Because sometimes you'll see something and be like, I can't do that. But when you know the tools to get you there, like a plank, you'll be right on your way. And then inhale, exhale. And then you can progress and add weights and bands and just other variations. But these are some of the best foundation exercises that are great on their own. But they're integrated in many of my workouts in a few different ways. So have a great day. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys.